Morning traders, so let's have a look at the DAX. This move of the DAX has been extremely strong, and a couple of things are concerning me. And the first thing that's concerning me is that we have hit this level, and as you can see how it's a pretty big level. So you've got this swing low here, then you've got this whole period here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 2 months worth where it was used as resistance. Okay, so we're back at this level. And that's the first thing. And the second thing is this weekly divergence. So from that high to this high, and you can see the MACD is making a new high, and the MACD is now starting to roll. So this is pretty much the two things that I'm worried about, is that we are at a major resistance level, and we have the divergence here. Okay, now in my experience, and I have this t-shirt many times, is I'm not really willing to take the short at this level just yet. I'll need some kind of confirmation, and preferably the confirmation needs to be on the 4-hour or even the daily chart before I start looking for shorts. And the reason being is that this move to the upside has just been so strong. I mean, look at the Alligator, it's pointing virtually straight up. There's no reason to be short at this stage. So we are at a major resistance level, which is a warning sign. We do have diversions on the daily here, but we're going to need something really special to happen, and that is our current trend line. Okay, so we're going to need something really special at this level for it to break, and you can see how yesterday we've finished with a range bar. You can see there is the range bar there. So for all intents and purposes, we need to break above or below that box in order for us to get some direction. So let's just get down to the 4-hour. And let's just close this so we can see what's happening. So you can see on the 4-hour as well, we have diversions, okay, and diversions. And the diversions is on the zero line of the MACD. So this zero line is the same for the MACD as it is for the awesome oscillator, which also starts indicating it's neutral. You know, there's neutrality here. The bears and bulls are quite happy with the price levels that we're at. So for me, I'm really not interested in going long up here. If we do have any form of pullback down to the trend line again, I may consider it, but for me the risk is too high. Even here, the potential reward is okay, still 100 points, but the risk is just too high. There's too much going on at this level for me to be confident that we're going to break through it. I would expect us to have some kind of a pullback. Okay, and when we saw it with the US markets last year, that sometimes that doesn't happen, but that is not the norm. So the norm of price action is we hit an area of resistance that the sellers will step in and push it down, and they're going to be trying to push it below this trend line, because then that's going to trigger a whole lot of stops and push this price even further down. So for me, okay, and let's just have a look at what happened here yesterday. So obviously this here was the public holiday. Okay, so this whole movement here was a public holiday, and obviously we had a gap here. So you can see how the gap was closed, which was a pretty good sign. The close of the gap aligned itself with the trend line, but this pin bar here, let's just get rid of this rectangle. This pin bar here was a wise man number one. Okay, so from Bill Williams' perspective, that was your first entry for a long. And I think what I'll do is I'll go through that on the lower time frame for now. Let's just do that quickly. Okay, so it doesn't really show up on that time frame. Okay. So yeah, I just want to get a level that's going to work. Okay, well, it doesn't really show up on any of the lower time frames, so let's just stick to the hour. So when you get a pin bar like this, what normally happens is your entry is on the break of the pin bar up there, okay, and your stop is here. And how you identify this is you're looking for a not necessarily a pin bar, but something which has got a tail that is at least as longer or as equal to the body, okay. So that's kind of what you're looking for. So what you're looking for is the sellers were in control, and then the buyers stepped in and took control of the bar. So as soon as you see that kind of picture, and it is in diversion to the alligator. So in other words, where the price crossed through the head of the alligator, there's the head. I draw a trend line down along the top, okay, and it will intersect other bars, but it's not important. What you're looking for is from where it broke through. So it broke through here. When it breaks through the alligator, you want to put a trend line in. And your next trend line is from where it breaks through, but you follow the red line. So why I'm putting it horizontal is because where this bar was formed, that's where the red line was. Okay? So now you can see that this angle is massive, and this is what we call divergence. So it's divergence from price to the alligator, which is indicating a long entry. Okay, so that would be your long entry, and then normally what would happen is you'd have on the third green bar, which was this one here, a break above here would be another long entry. Okay, so that's wise man number one. Third green bar on the awesome oscillator is wise man number two, and wise man number three would be a break of a fractal. So not something that I tend to trade on the hour. On the indexes, I tend to look for pretty much the 15 minutes is the biggest I'll go to trade it. Normally I'm trading this on the 6 minutes. And let's just delete that as well. So where are we today? What am I looking for? Just want to get rid of all the noise quickly. So for me, I suspect we're going to have another test at this high. And I may be interested in taking a little punt here for a short, but I really want to see some confirmation on the higher time frame. So we do have an inside bar here on the hour, which is a pretty good signal, and we came off. But I'd like to see a second one at least on the hour before I start looking for shorts. So for me right now, a retest of this trend line is still long, and it's long for a retest of this level. If the second retest here fails, let's just put a block in. So if a second retest here fails, then we have the potential for a change of direction to set up. But as I said, this move has been very strong, so I'll be very cautious about that. And for now, let's just get what this measured move would be if we had our second push. So as we stand now, a break of this level here will bring 13,283 into play. So for me, we're still looking for longs, and we're looking for longs on every pullback. So if it consolidates here and starts moving to the upside, that's probably going to be the entry. There are some deeper targets here, but what we do is just focus on the Fibonacci. It'll keep us sane. And let's just copy that rectangle and put that over there. And I don't believe in coincidences, but especially not when it comes to technical analysis. But the 50% and between the 50 and 61.8 Fibonacci basically coincides almost with the trend line here. So I would suspect we have another retest here and push up. So V reversals are rare. So in other words, where we hit the level and we just turn and run are very rare, but when they do happen, they're typically very violent. So this hasn't been a violent move to the downside. So for me, I still think we're going to have a little bit of a push down and then another attempt at this level. And that's pretty much the range that I'm going to play today. If we do break this on the hour, then it will bring, so you're only going to see these levels on the daily. It'll bring that level into play. You can see there's a tail, there's a tail, there's a tail, there's a tail. So there's quite a bit happening there. So that's pretty much what it is. But if we do break the level that we're at as well, then just put a line on that. Okay, so this range bar, this is what I put the range bar on to this range bar. Its target is going to be, there's 200% there, which is essentially this inside bar up here and the previous high. So let's just move that onto that inside bar. So it's this previous high, quite a bit of interaction with it. So that's probably what the bulls are aiming for. They're aiming for this inside, for this previous high here. And then obviously they'll consolidate and then they'll aim for the next previous high. So that's kind of what they're aiming for. But obviously they're going to need to get above here first. And I think this is where the battle line is going to be. This is going to be a pretty intense battle in this area to see what happens. So for me, still looking for longs, long on the pullback. So this area here will be the 61% retracement. And basically what it does for you is, if we just take it from the middle line, it gives you a, okay, so it's a 72 pip stop loss so it's a 1-to-1 85 pip trade. So not really a decent trade, which is why I'm also contemplating not even getting into the DAX today. But if you do, you want to be trading long and you want to be trading with a trend. So wait for the pullback, get in, stop below the previous low, which is this one here, and trade it back to the upside. This is your first target. If we do manage to break through that, then obviously your next target is up here before heading to even higher targets. Okay, so that's DAX. I hope it helps, and I'll catch you later.